Scouts Inc. did a mock draft of the top 20 players in the Big Ten, and half are from Ohio State.
Half?
Including the top 3 players and 5 of the top 8. Ohio State is 6-0 and ranked #1 in the country, but have struggled at times this season. Of course, Robert, you're still a Buckeye.
Of course. Once and always.
Always, right? Never changes. Are they still the best team in the country?
No. No, they're not the best team in the country. And teams should be judged on their performance, not their reputation or their potential. And anybody that looks at Ohio State this year and thinks about what they were last year and just assumes that they're the same team, they're just not watching, or they just want to believe something that's not true. But I look at teams, I look at a team like Alabama, who's obviously lost to Ole Miss. I think they're a better team right now. I look at Baylor. I look at TCU. I look at Clemson. I'm not quite buying Utah. I think they go down to Arizona State this weekend. But there's no way that Ohio State right now is the best team in the country. And I'm tired of seeing voters just put them up there just because they're the defending champs.
Okay.
Very unbiased of you. Stephen A.
Hold on. Whoa. Did you throw Baylor in there with their non-defense playing selves? Did you say Baylor?
I did say
with
Baylor.
Their offensive playing selves.
If it wasn't, you do remember.
I mean,
you do remember that bowl game against Michigan State. Now they were up by 20 in that game, but they were up against that vaunted Michigan State defense. So that team that didn't play defense, the defense cost them in that game at the end. But the way that the offense is looking right now, improved play on defense, yes, I have them there right now.
All right, I guess I haven't gotten over the fact that they gave up 31 points to Lamar. I guess that's what it was. I guess that's what did it for me, Robert. Lamar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, you know, who am I to question you? But I'm just saying. I mean, when you mention Baylor, I'm like, really, Baylor? But okay, I'll defer to you, my man. I'll defer.
Well, wait a second. Is this take shots at Texas Schools Day? We've gone Mean Green. Now we're done Lamar, and even I'll throw Baylor in there, right? The Baylor Bears.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, come on, Skip. Come on, Skip.
Hey, come on
now. Baylor gave up 31 points to Lamar.
Who looks like the best team to you right now?
I got to throw this out to defend ESPN Analytics, our FPI. They love the Baylor Bears. In fact, I think they're #1. The last time I looked, they were '1 in our FPI. So, Stephen A., you're going against our people again.
Whoa. I only have one question. Is that the same people that said that Kobe Bryant was the 96th best player in the NBA, and the same people who said that Dwayne Wade is number 45?
No, because FBI.
All right. As long as it ain't the same people.
No, it's not. Maybe it's the same people that program the computers, but the computers are really looking at the strength of record, meaning how an average team would do if they would be able to get that record, offensive, defensive efficiency, and it does take into account the competition. Even lowly Lamar has a rating in the system, so that's what it's looking at as well.
Okay, back to the question. I do believe Ohio State is easily the best team in America right now. And I get that they haven't played up to they're going to be the best.
Okay.
Did Urban not bring them to a late boil last year right on schedule? He's going to do it again. I don't think Michigan had one player ranked in the top 20 in this mock draft that they did. Who was it? The safety, Jabril
Peppers.
Peppers, yeah. They list him as a safety, but whatever. Okay, so that's one player out of 20. Ohio State had 10, and guess what? Michael Thomas, your stud receiver, was not picked in the mock draft in the 10 players. And he's all the way up to 11 on Todd McShay's big board. So 11, so he's not even in it. So he should have been in there somewhere. So that means this team is incredibly loaded with pro football players, soon to be. Obviously starting with Joey Bosa, who very well could be the first pick in the draft. Cardale has struggled. They played a little musical quarterbacks. He's 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He went Tom Brady on the playoffs last year, and he hasn't gotten back to that level. And I think he's looking over his shoulder a little bit at JT.
Well, let's talk about a different Tom. Let's talk about Tom Herman.
Okay.
Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach from a year ago down at Houston. And Urban actually reached out to him after watching Greg Ward, the quarterback there at Houston, perform. And that's why the change was made with JT Barrett. So Urban actually reached out to him, acknowledged that there's a serious problem. They were terrible in the red zone. Most talented, no question, but not the best team. Not right now. How many times do we see the more talented team lose in football?
Yeah, but this is so much more than any other team that when it comes to the end of the year, They will be.
You mean
ready.
like when Ohio State beat Miami, right? I mean, it happens.
Okay.
It's football.
Right.
Stephen A.
Yeah, we don't want to hear what you say.
Guys, here's why. First of all, I agree with Robert because they clearly are the most talented, but that doesn't make them the best team, Skip. Watch them against Indiana. I wasn't impressed by that.
I watched it.
I just look at it from this perspective. I got to say this to you. I don't have any question, guys, that the Ohio State Buckeyes are obviously the most talented team. But as great as we all know Urban Meyer to be, can he possibly be the problem thus far? We know he'll be the solution because he's too great not to be. His resume is too impeccable. I'm certainly not trying to cast any aspersions on him. He's been trying to figure out that quarterback deal. I get that with Cardale Jones and J.T. Barrett. But my Lord, guys, when all else fails, can you just give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott and just call it a day?
Well,
the guy is averaging nearly 7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. My point is that they've made it. I would argue that Urban Meyer has made it far more suspenseful than it needs to be because when this guy touches the football, good things happen. Give him the damn ball. You got Michael Thomas with 27 receptions for you. But give Ezekiel Elliott the damn ball, move out the way, and call it an afternoon. It's really very simple to me.
They're going to start doing that.
But that average is inflated too. Averaging 7 yards a carry. How many of those have been those 50, 60-yard runs? That's not what Ohio State wants. You look at the 696 yards in those last 3 games in the championship run. They had much more consistent play along the offensive line.
So they don't want 60-yard runs. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't always manufacture 60-yard runs. You want more consistency in your offense.
Okay, I'll go
You're
on.
not always playing Indiana.
I'll go on record early. Ohio State will win at Michigan in the last game of the year. They're just too talented. They're so much better than Michigan.
And they'll have to get a lot. They'll have to play a lot better.
They're going to play better.
We shall see. Robert Smith, always a pleasure. Thanks for getting this guy fired up.
Oh, you got it. Anytime.
that doesn't take much.
When there's news on LeBron James, the world stops. And we have some news on why he's not going to be playing the rest.
McCaffrey giving way, and it's a reverse back to Hogan. How about this from Stanford? Did he catch that pinned against the defender's back? That is utterly incredible. Francis Owusu, that may be the play of the year so far. Wow. How in the world did Owusu do that? Razzle dazzle and then bringing it on the back end.
It may not be ODB's famous one-handed catch, but that was pretty sick. Stanford's Francis Owusu with maybe the catch of the year in football so far.
Maybe definitely the catch of the year.
Maybe
Robert Smith in the house. He's liking it. How ridiculous was that?
It's insane. I mean, it's one thing because he couldn't see. He was shielded by the defender, and he has an idea of where the ball's going to go. So getting your hands to the place where the ball might be is one thing, but actually being able to grab it, to have the finger sensitivity once that ball gets there, to be able to catch it and then hang on as you're wrestling to the ground with another player, tremendous play right there.
What do you think, Stephen A?
Oh, it was spectacular. There's no question about that. I got to give a lot of credit. I've never seen a catch like that before. I mean, it wasn't Odell Beckham Jr. against Dallas last year. It wasn't that kind of catch, but it was still a sensational catch, particularly for a college football player. I give the kid a lot of credit where credit is due. I am shocked, however, that UCLA gave up 56 points. Stanford seemed to just have their way with them last night.
This is kind of like the pro throw catch. Remember that?
It's exactly like that. Yeah. You know, I will give this an 8 on a scale of 10.
An 8? You're such a tough critic.
I know, but the defensive back, and he will go nameless here.
Yeah.
Well, what is he doing? If he just looks around, he didn't know that the ball was caught on his back all the way to the ground. He doesn't know what happened.
What's he going to do?
Okay,
He can't reach that point in your
just
back.
go like this. Just turn around and look. It's an easy interception. Or you could just put your hand behind your back. He looked
late, and you don't have enough force reaching right to the middle of your back.
But even if if you just put one hand behind your back, it would have bounced off your hand.
And I got 2 hands on the ball.
Okay.
I'm hanging on to it. You're not going to be able to knock the ball from my hands if I have 2 hands on it and you just reach behind. We're going to disagree on a lot of things, apparently.
Oh, God, you guys are fired up.
It's such a bad play by the defensive back. Am I not right? What is the classic teaching moment? You just have to look for the football.
Well, if you're out of phase like that, meaning that you're not you're not caught up to the wide receiver, you're taught not to look back at that point. You're just taught to catch up. and then once he tries to make a play for the ball to try and knock the ball out of his hands or pull his arm, rake his arm or something like that, what he does is he tries to look back at the absolute worst time. The ball just happens to be right there when he's looking back. But he got called for the penalty because he's face guarding and he's right up on the receiver.
Wrong. Yes.
You can't get to the back. You can't get to the back of the end zone like that and not turn around and make a play. You have to understand he's not going to go any further. Like, he can't catch the ball out of the back of the end zone and have it count. So you have to turn around earlier.
Listen, it was sick. Robert, can you not be biased on this next subject, though?
Absolutely.
Okay, try.
Okay.
All right.